Hello crafty friends, and thank you for joining me, Amy of Sevens Crafts, with Altenew's latest Build a Flower Wild Rose. On the first of every month, Altenew releases a new floral layering stamp and die set. The Wild Rose set has one large bloom with 4 layers and a leaf with 2 layers, along with 2 smaller stamps and many sentiments. There is a layering guide included that helps you to line up the stamps to get the most realistic looking flower with very little effort. I'm going to share my tricks for getting a lot of really cool flowers today using different color combinations and my stamp positioner. First, I start with a large piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, which I put into my MISTI. Then I grab the outline stamp. The first flowers will use pinks, creams, and blues. I stamp the outline in purple wine ink, which is a dark purpley pink ink. Stamping the outline first helps to line up the other layers. I then line up the base layer, flip my cardstock, and stamp it in vanilla cream. Now that I have these 2 layers in my MISTI, I stamp a total of 4 flowers on this sheet of paper just by rotating my cardstock. Since the layers are already lined up, it is easy to keep moving the paper and stamping different colors of inks. I then add the 3rd and 4th layers, which provide detail and depth to the image. On one of the flowers, I'm staying with pinks and add puffy heart. And on the other flower, I add a purple-blue color with dark night. The layers of the Build a Flower Wild Rose are really easy to line up, and I have the stamping guide for reference. I wanted to add colors from different color families to bring dimension and interest to the flowers. I'm also stamping on a different sheet of the same size paper using blues and purples. I ended up stamping a total of 8 flowers and 4 leaves on the 2 sheets of paper. All the ink combinations I used are located in the description below and on my blog. Using the coordinating dies, I cut out all the flowers and leaves and then sort them. So now that I have all these flowers, what to do with them? I want to show you 3 different ways to take these flowers and really set them off. The first one is with subtle stamping. I took one of the smaller stamps included with the Build a Flower Wild Rose stamp set and inked it up with limestone ink. Using the 2 flowers as a guide, I stamped around where the flowers will finally be placed on the card. This delicate stamping provides an elegant way to ground the flowers on the front card. I used limestone ink because it is a very light gray ink that would be a neutral for these very, very colorful flowers that I am adding. The dark gray card base also sets off these flowers. The die cut Thanks is from the Altenew Script Words 2 die set and was cut from 3 pieces of cardstock that were glued together. This card really looks great. The second technique is having a blended background with Emboss Resist. Emboss Resist is when an image is embossed on a background with either clear or white embossing powder. Once ink is added, the embossed images resist the ink and appear. I like this look because it is soft and subtle. After stamping the other small image from the Build a Flower Wild Rose stamp set all over a panel, I add clear embossing powder, heat set it, and then use the large Altenew blending brushes to add Misty Morning ink. As I'm blending, you can see the images appear. Misty Morning is a very soft ink that is blue-gray, and so I decided to add pale mauve for a little bit of interest and a little bit of variation in color. And I like the blend between the Misty Morning blue and the pale mauve purple. After inking up all over this panel with the Misty Morning and Pale Mauve inks, I cut the panel down to 4 inches by 5¼ inches high. This size will leave a little bit of overlap on my card base, and so I decided to ink up the edges of the card base with Altenew Enchanted Gold ink. And here I'm just swiping the ink pad directly to the paper. This ink will give it a nice shiny look and really sets off that embossed panel. I then add a die cut from Altenew Mirror Gold cardstock with the crystal frames, and then I add my flower on top of that, and I finish it off with hello letters from the fine alphabet. And this card is really very pretty. The final example uses the brushed grid washi tape. This tape is 2 inches high, and I cut a piece that goes just over my card base. I smooth that down as best I can to get any sort of bubbles around. And the nice thing about the washi tape is that it doesn't adhere too strong until you need it to. So that's why the bone folder helps to really kind of smooth those edges out. The washi tape gives a really nice graphic element that is a juxtaposition with the flowers. Then I add my flowers here. Notice that the 2 leaves are 2 different colors. And then finally I add some letters from the Altenew Fine Alphabet die set. And I glue those down to my card base. This is really my favorite card of the 3 that I made for you today. I hope you'll join us over on the Altenew website for our blog hop, where you can win some prizes, including gift cards. I hope this inspired you, and have a crafty day.